Elio Gracie once said, for the choke, there are no tough guys. I'm Michael Foley, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the squeeze in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So what Elio Gracie meant by that was, if you're fighting somebody bigger, stronger, faster than you, and let's just say, for example, you put them in an arm bar and you break their arm, or you put them in a shoulder lock, dislocate their shoulder, they can still fight. If they're extremely tough, extremely motivated, maybe they're on something, they're really coming after you, joint lock might not cut it. But if you strangle them, you're gonna put them to sleep. And that's the meaning behind what he said. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples here. So every time I get somebody brand new to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or self-defense in general, they come into the club and one of the first submissions we teach them is a standard cross choke with the gi on. So one hand goes in the collar, nice and deep. The other hand goes in the collar, nice and deep, and it looks easy enough. So what I often see is from here, the new student starts to do this, flares their elbows. It's uncomfortable for their partner, but they're not tapping out. They're still able to breathe, but it's not that effective because they're using small muscles to try to complete the choke. Watch what I'm doing here. So my hands are in the right place. I'm not going to talk about the adjustments for the grip just yet. We'll get into that now in a minute. But my hands are in the right place from a newbie's point of view. And from here, you'll often see new people start to flare their elbows like this. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to finish this choke with my hands in the wrong position, flaring my elbows, doing a little bit of work here with my shoulders, and I'm trying to strangle them with my arms. When instead, I should be trying to strangle them with my back muscles. Position with my hand, I want to turn the blade of my wrist into the neck here. Curl my wrist up a little bit like this. This one underneath right here, curl my wrist up a little bit like this. And then I don't want to pull them into me. I want to bring myself to them. Now from here, I'm in a good position, just like I'm doing a back row at the gym. I'm going to start to pull my elbows back while flexing my back muscles, and that's going to put the squeeze on your opponent. So here's another example with the rear naked choke. You're often going to see people get this position and they'll start to use gable grips like this because it's easier to get, and then they'll start pulling back on the neck like this, and there might be a choke, but somebody skilled or somebody who's really fighting this position, you've given them all kinds of space on both sides of their neck to maneuver their chin to block the choke, when instead what you should do is get in as tight as you can. Hands in position. Now from here, there's pressure on the neck, but my arms don't have to do any more work. I lock my arms into place. Now from here, I'm gonna do the opposite. Where the cross choke, I use my back. With this choke, I'm gonna crunch just like I'm doing an ab workout. I'm gonna crunch down, squeeze my elbows together. So the hand position there is going around the neck, hand zips in behind right here like this, and I'm just gonna lock everything in place. So this hand's on my bicep or my shoulder, this hand's on my shoulder. I'm gonna drop my elbows, drive this hand forward so that they kind of match up. Now from here, I'm gonna use the bigger muscles in my body. I use the smaller ones just to get the lock in place. Then I use the bigger muscles, so my entire core to crunch, and that's how you get the squeeze on the choke. If you're new to grappling, jiu-jitsu, judo, whatever style it is you're doing, and you find you're putting your opponent in the choke submission, maybe you learned it that night and you've gotten it in a roll and you've pulled it off, but you're not getting the tap, 90% of the time, it's because you're doing the squeeze improperly. So think about it. What muscles are getting tired? If it's your grip, if it's your shoulder, if it's your bicep, then it's definitely not the right way to squeeze. What you want to do is think about it this way. Your smaller muscles get the lock in place, but your larger muscles are what does the squeeze. Now you're going to develop your squeeze over a long period of time. You can try it on a training dummy like Bob like this, but constantly working on your squeeze on a training partner, they're gonna tap out right away. You're gonna find that you're gonna have to develop this by repeating the technique as opposed to just working with maybe your white belt partner and just squeezing. You're gonna find that you're gonna start putting people to sleep, and then your training partners aren't gonna wanna train with you anymore. And if you got nobody to train with, you can never get good at this. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'm Michael Foley, and I'll see you on the mats.